chicken in the slow cooker on my little mini crock pot, which I dearly love. And we're also going to do a peach pie. But for now, I just want to get my Mexican chicken on. This is so easy. Now the whole idea behind doing it this way, once this is done after about 6 hours, then I'm going to put it on low. You can put it on high and cook it for like 4 hours and it will be done. But what I did, I always keep like frozen chicken breasts that you buy frozen from like, you know, Walmart or Publix or Aldi's. I had a couple of them just laying around in the freezer. I thought, well, why don't I do the Mexican chicken? So I'm going to do this. It takes very minimal ingredients, things that you're going to have on hand. And then we're going to shred them, and you can use them in so many different applications. My purpose today, I'm going to put them in spinach wraps and have those alongside some chips and some salsa. Now what I've got going on here is the other day we made a spinach salsa. So I've got a couple of tablespoons of that in with just regular salsa, you know, more or less just the tomato salsa. But I really, really like the spinach salsa. It just adds so much flavor. And then you remember the diced veggies that we did? I've still got the frozen bag that I'm working on. I'm going to put maybe, a half a cup of the veggies in there to cook along with the Mexican chicken. And then the spices. So let's get started. Let me show you what we're going to do here. What is it, Rosie? Huh? You see the squirrel? I did. There's squirrels outside. So we're going to put like a teaspoon, and I'm going to put it in the salsa. So when I put it in the chicken, I don't have to stir it. So let's go ahead and get that in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to put it individually. I'm going to mix it and everything in the salsa and then pour it on top of the chicken. The cumin, now the cumin is not spicy, but it just adds a depth. And it's a half a teaspoon of cumin, since this is a small amount. It adds a depth of Mexican flavor. I think if you don't use it, try it. You'll fall in love with it. I didn't use it for years, and I thought, you know, everybody's talking about cumin, so I'm going to try it. I put it in everything. Okay, Italian seasoning. I'm going to put a teaspoon. Remember, this is a small batch. You can double this if you want. That's why the seasonings are so small. Ordinarily, if I was doing this for a regular meal, this would be 4 to 6 breasts in my large crock pot, and everything would be double. But we're not doing that today. This is probably going to make about 4 to 6 wraps. Okay, the onion powder, same thing with that, onion and garlic. You guys see the squirrels. And most of these spices, I think everybody has on hand. If you don't, you probably have those spices that you personally prefer, which you most certainly can use. Now, the taco seasoning, I'm going to put, I was going to put a tablespoon in there, but we're not big into like the taco, an overabundance of taco flavor. We like the background taco flavor. So what I'm going to do is just put 2 teaspoons in here. Do everything according to your own taste and what your family prefers. So we're just going to take this, we're going to stir it up. Smells incredible. Can you imagine this in a wrap with cheese on top? Be very, very good. Okay, I got that. So now I'm going to reach in here and take a handful of my diced veggies, which is mostly scallions, onions, green peppers. What else is in here? Tomatoes. And not only a green pepper, but an orange pepper as well. But this bag, out of this one bag that we made, I've used that in 3 recipes already this week, and we made 4 big bags, gallon bags. And you know, you're just not, every meal you're not chopping vegetables to get the desired result. Tomato overboard. You see how easy this is? And don't be tempted to add liquid to this, because as this cooks down, the vegetables are going to defrost because they're frozen going in here, and the chicken's going to defrost. You don't want to get it too soppy wet because we are going to shred it and use it in sandwiches. So we're just going to pour that in here, like so. And I mean, you do what you do when it comes to this kind of a meal. This is just how I do it, because I don't like it too soupy, because it tends to make the, I'm going to put this on high for like an hour since it's frozen. And then after an hour, I'm going to turn it down to low. And I'm going to cook, it's 9:30 now. I'm going to cook this until probably about 2 o'clock, 3. And then by that time, I will have already made the peach pie as well. And this will be good to go. And it's just a matter of putting dinner together. So that's going to be it for now. We're ready to go. I've got it on high. And again, just to recap, I'm just using two frozen chicken breasts. I'll get this out. And then, of course, our salsa. The regular recipe calls to put Rotel tomatoes, diced tomatoes in this. But when I did that the last time I made it, just made it too soggy. So I just err on the side of caution. I just put my own salsa in here. Okay, so until this gets done, I'll see you, and we're going to do the peach pie in a little bit. Okay, I hope you can see everything. Let me do a double check. Okay, butter, salt. Okay. All right, let me get my bags out. Now, these bags, they're such time savers, and they're just so handy to have around. See, they just come in a roll. I'll need 4 of these because this pie crust is going to make 4 thin crust. And that's exactly, well, we're only going to use 2. But when I make these, I like to double it up so that I'm not having to make them again in my next pie or for whatever purpose I'm using it. Okay, so get these bags out of the way. This is what we've got so far. We've got 1 1/4 cups of Crisco, and I've got 1/2 cup of butter, which is 1 stick, and I've cubed that up. 4 cups of all-purpose flour, which is gold medal. It's just, I'm getting that so cheap off of Amazon, $3.98 for 5 pounds. I can't beat that. Sugar, salt, and buttermilk powder. And then 1/2 cup of ice water, which I've already put a teaspoon. Get my tables and teas mixed up all the time. A teaspoon of my buttermilk powder, or you can use vinegar. It just makes your crust a little bit, crispier and flakier. And then 1 egg. And I'll show you how I'm going to do these 2 in a second. So my dry ingredients, I'm going to add a tablespoon of sugar. You don't have to. I just like it a little bit sweet. And you hardly even taste it, but that's just the way I like it. And then the salt, I'm doing 1/4 of the pink Himalayan salt. Let me just mix that up real good right here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put that in our processor. I got my fan going because it's already muggy here. I'm sure everybody's in the same boat. It's really, well, we did have a couple of storms yesterday and last night. And of course the dogs, they go nuts. I was up with them all night. Okay, our water, I've got ice in here because you want that to be cold. And so what I'm going to do, and you can do this however way you want to, but all I'm going to do is take my 1/2 cup of water, and I'm going to get rid of those ice cubes because I don't want those ice cubes, as one slips through my fingers, I don't want those ice cubes in my dough. There we go. So we'll go ahead and get that mixed up. That'll go in last. Okay, so we're ready to rock and roll here. This is so easy. I just wish everybody would at least give it a try. Okay, I'm going to pulse this. I think I'm going to pulse it. There we go. Yeah, I'll pulse it. Okay. I'm sure the dogs are going to be running in here too, guys, so be prepared. I don't know what they're barking at out there. Probably the cat. Okay, put your butter and your shortening in all around the edge. And while I'm doing this, what I do is put half of it in and pulse it, because I don't want to get a big glob of shortening or butter. I want to coat the flour, but I don't want a big glob of anything. There it is. There we go. And it's so pretty outside. Oh, there she goes. See, Rosie's going there. I know. Got flour flying everywhere. I know, guys. I know. There we go. Now, a lot of people, I'm going to do it again. A lot of people use lard too, which I've never been a fan of. Okay. Oh my goodness. See how that's getting? All right, guys. Sorry about that. I'm sure they hear you. Look, there's your squirrel. Look, there's your squirrel. Look, there's your squirrel. Maybe that'll shut off. I hate to yell at them. They have so much fun with this. Okay, here we go again. See? I think they're over the initial impact. Okay. No, I don't want to take it off. I'm afraid I won't get it back on. So let me show it to you this way. See? Okay. So we're going to put that through our feed, the water and the egg. Okay. And you can do this by hand as well. It should start forming a ball. And there it goes. That's a lot of flour. Okay, there you go. There's your bowl. Feels good. See the bowl? Now this makes 4 pie crusts. If you were to, let's see, there we go. If you were to buy 4 pie crusts, 2 come in a box, and that's what, about $5 a crust, so that's $10 for the pie crust right here. Okay. So let's flour our board. Let's turn this out. Now, sure we get everything. There we go. A little bit more flour on this because we want to divide this in 4s. So, feels good. See how pliable that is? You don't want to mess with it too much. Okay, I'm going to do it in like a snake and cut it in 4s. And we're going to use 2. Okay, so say that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put these in disc like so. And I'm gonna put 2 in the freezer and 2 in the refrigerator because I'm gonna freeze these 2. And these 2 we'll use today for our peach pie. Like so. They need to be in there for at least a half an hour. Half an hour is good, but longer is good too. But if you're going to do more than overnight, I would freeze them. Okay. And we go with this. And a lot of times what I do, I think you've seen me do this in the past, I'll roll them out right in the bag. And you don't want to put both of them in there together because they'll freeze together and then it's going to be a big mess. Now, I've got bags before that are a little bit larger than these. So to hold my bread. But I like this size. And this lasts forever. And depending on what you're putting in here, like I cover my flour in this, everything. Here in Florida, we have ants and bugs and stuff, and you leave food out, you're asking for trouble. So everything I have on the counter, in my bread box, everything is covered with plastic wrap. Okay, and that's it. Just a clean up. But that's no different than buying it in a box and having to bring it out and thaw it out, or God forbid, put it in the microwave and try to thaw it out when it really turns into a mess then. Okay, so we're going to take these and put them in the refrigerator. And they'll be ready to go when we make our peach pie. Okay? Okay, so I got my crust out of the refrigerator. I don't want to wait too long because it's going to get warm. But I'm going to make a 6-inch pie. It does no good to do a 9-inch pie. It just doesn't get eaten. So I'm going to get this in the pie plate. And then I'm going to stick it in the freezer and freeze it. It just cooks up or bakes up better because I'm going to blind bake this. Since the filling is fruit and it's going to be a little wetter than normal. So we want to try to get away from a soggy crust if possible. And this is the only way I know how to do it. So we're going to just take and everybody has their own little particular way to do this. Now I'm going to put a lattice crust on it. So I need to do this now because the lattice is going to be twirled around. And it's already starting to get warm. That's the only thing with these crusts. They just don't like to do right when they're warm. You got to work fairly quickly. And you don't have to decorate it as long as you roll it over and you don't have any raw edges that are going to hang out and burn when they bake. But we'll just go ahead and see what we got going. So I'm just going to take my 2 fingers and just go around like so. See how easy that is? There's a million ways to decorate a pie crust. This is just the way I do it. Make it nice and pretty. And then the lattice top is the crust that we made with this, but we're going to twirl it and coat it in cinnamon sugar and layer it on top. It's beautiful. It'd be pretty with that peach filling. So what I'm going to do while this is in the freezer is get my peaches cooked down. They're frozen. And I'm going to put them in a There we go. Put them in a pan and let them, how pretty that is. Here, a little bit. Oh, piece of little work. Put over there. There we go. Okay, I'm going to stick this in the freezer. Okay, so I've got my Firestone as private selection. Firestone peach slices. They're frozen, ready to use. So we're going to put these in our pot, just like so. Like that. Then I'm going to get, sorry, let me get my sugar. Forgot my sugar, guys. Okay, so I had everything out. Now this is a cup container, so we're going to put a half a cup of sugar in this. You can, you know, make it yours. You don't have to put any sugar in it, but a half a cup usually works for me with this size pie. Now I'm not putting any liquid in this. I'm just going to put it on the stove. Something more in there. I'm just going to put this on the stove on low and let it bubble up just to see how much liquid that I do have in this. And then I can make a judgment call, because anytime you're working with frozen fruit, or well, anything frozen, you're going to get that liquid. So let's get this on the stove on a low temp in the back, about medium to medium low, and bring that up, and we'll see where we are as far as the liquid goes. Okay, so my peaches, they've started boiling. Now, let me bring this around so you can see it. Now, I put no liquid in this, but can you see the liquid? A lot of liquid, so that's why you don't need any. But we do want this juice. So what we're going to do is we're making a cornstarch slurry. I've got a half a cup of apple juice. Orange juice, you can put peach juice, any kind of like a juice. You can even put water, but I prefer to try to build on flavor. So in this is 3 tablespoons of cornstarch to a half a cup of apple juice. I've got a teaspoon, look at my tables and my teas again. I've got a teaspoon of cinnamon I threw in there. And then also, you know, a capful of orange extract. So I'm going to put this in here. We're going to thicken this up, and then we're just going to set it to cool. In the meantime, we're going to take our pie shell out of the freezer, and we're going to put it in a 400-degree oven to brown it, to bake it off. But we really want to keep an eye on our peaches. That'll make it a nice pie. Okay, so what we're going to do here, whoops, let me get out of the freezer. Here's our pie shell. Let's dock it, which is taking a fork, because you don't want it to bubble up in the oven. You know, sometimes, guys, you know, I search for words, and sometimes they elude me. It's this, you know, where I had the brain surgeries and the spinal surgeries. It's just, you know, part of that thing that happens. Okay, so we're going to put this in a 400-degree oven, but I'm going to put weights in it. You can take either aluminum foil or parchment paper. I'm going to put that in there. That's why it's also good to freeze that pie shell because you're handling it a little bit more. Okay. So this is a combination of pie weights and beans. Okay. Okay, I put my pie shell back in the freezer. I wanted it to be frozen before I put it in the oven. So our filling, our peach filling is done. See how thick that is now? Got a little bit of cornstarch. So again, it's cornstarch with a dash of cinnamon and like a capful of orange extract and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and a half a cup of apple juice. So I'm just going to set this aside and let this cool because I want this cold or at least room temperature going into our baked pie shell. So let's set this to the side. I may even throw this in the refrigerator actually. Okay, so I've got my pie shell in the oven finishing up. The filling, I had it in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes. I've got it out on the side. It's just parked, ready to go. So what I want to do is do the top of our pie. Sometimes this makes me a little nervous. You know, dealing with what I have with my, the problem with my arms and my hands. Sometimes I can do this, sometimes I can't. But we're going to try it because it makes for such a beautiful pie. And if I'm going to put all this work into making a pie, I want it to be pretty. And with these pies, don't think you have to make it this way. You can get already made pie crust from the store. There's nothing wrong with those. This is just, something that I like to do. To me, it's a lot of fun. It's creative. Sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. I just start over. Yeah, I don't have to make this into a circle because, or a certain size because I'm going to be cutting it. But I do want it to be as cold as possible. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. We are going to, I got the fan blowing on me because it's so hot. I know you're sick and tired of hearing me say that. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut this. I like my little cutter here. A little piece of wheel. Pastry wheel, I guess you call it. I'm going to do these a little on the thick side because I'm going to twist them. If you can follow what I'm doing. Can you see that? I'm going to move a little quick for me, not quick for you, I'm sure. But I need to move quick so that I can get these back in the refrigerator. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to twist them like this, you see? Make them pretty. And I'm going to put them on this little sheet right here, and I'm going to put them in the freezer. Just like so. We're going to put these right on top of our peach pie. Isn't that a lot easier than trying to form it and make it work? This is going to be so pretty. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 6. We're going to have 3 this way. Because it's a small 6-inch pie, you don't want to totally cover your cute little pie. No worries. Just pinch it back together like so. The beauty of a pie crust, you can always pinch, right? And put that in there. We'll doctor him up later. Okay, and I'm going to save these little bits of scrap because I'm going to roll those out just in case something happens with these. Okay, let me get my plate. Of course I didn't get my plate. Actually I'm going to do my cutting board instead of having to do my plate. Hey Andy, you ready again for another treat? Huh? We're going to slide those right back into the freezer. Normally you don't have to do all this, but with the heat the way it is, it's almost impossible not to. Everything just melts. Okay. In the meantime, I think I'll go ahead. Oh, I better check my pie shell. Almost ready. I'll say another couple minutes. Let's see if we can get another. Alexa, cancel timer. I had her set on 20 minutes. I don't know if we're going to do this or not. We're going to try. Yeah, I think we can. Yeah, we can. We can get another. How's that? Back up. We'll put him in the freezer. There you go. And that way, all we have to do, I'll just toss these little things. All we have to do, because they're going to be so cold when we're ready to put our pie together, that we're just going to be able to lay them on the pie. We won't have to worry about them breaking or anything. We'll be able to put some egg wash on there with some coconut sugar and pop it in the oven. And we're done. I know it seems like quite a bit of prep or work to make this. But, you know, it is a homemade pie. The only thing that's not homemade is the fact that you didn't pick the peaches, parboil the peaches, peel the peaches, and slice the peaches. Other than that, the peaches are still, you know, they're fresh. They're sliced and frozen. Everything else is all yours, all you. But let me explain something real quick. In order to do this without all these steps, and the only reason there's these steps involved is because of the heat right now in my kitchen. It's 78 degrees. That's warm for a crust. Get your pre-made pie crust, your pie shell or pie shell, whatever you want to do. If you get the ones that are like Pillsbury that are rolled, so loose that you unroll and you use your rolling pin with, you can do the bottom crust the same as I'm doing this one, and the top you can still score it out, you know, twirl it and all that good stuff. The pie filling, you can just get a can of peach pie filling. Nothing else to say about that. You just dump it in your pie shell. Put anything that you want to in it or on it to amp up the flavor if you so desire. Put your little lattice on top and put it in the oven. It takes all of 10 minutes to do that. This is just something that I like to do because it can be done and it gives me a reason to do it, because there's so many things I can't do anymore that I look around and I try to do things that I'm hindered at and find ways that, well, I can make them work. So let's check our pie shell. I can't put it on this silicone mat, or I don't want to, rather. Okay, yeah, we're done. We're ready to go. What? Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful pie shell, guys. Look at that. Oh, I wish I could taste it, but I can't. Oh, there's a crumb. Okay, we're going to leave the temperature right now on that. Now, I did sink a little on this side. We're going to let this cool for about 10 minutes, and we're going to put it together and pop it back in the oven. Now, you do not have to pre-bake. However, even if I was using a store-bought pie shell, I would still pre-bake it, because you know how annoying it is. I'm sure you've done this yourself, where you put the pie together, you stick it in the oven, and the bottom crust doesn't get done. It's so annoying, and then you put all that work into it, whether, you know, it's half the work or not. So just pre-bake it. It takes all of like 15 minutes. So here's our crust. Going to set it over here on the side and let it cool off, and then we will come back and assemble it. Alrighty then. Pie shell cooled down enough to work with. I've got my egg wash. my coconut sugar with a dash of cinnamon, our peach pie filling, and don't forget this peach pie filling has a half a cup of apple juice and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch mixed up along with my orange extract that I put in that, and that was my thickener with that. And I showed you how much liquid was left, and just all we did when we put our peaches from the bag frozen in this pot and a half a cup of sugar, you saw how much liquid there was in there. So do not add liquid unless you absolutely have to. And here's our little lattice tops ready to go. See how easy that is? So we're going to go ahead and put our pie filling in. Now this is a 6-inch dish pie shell. And I believe, guys, it made just enough. Now you can make also a cream. It's called a cream peach filling, which is really good, and it's made with heavy cream. So if I was doing that, instead of the using a half a cup of apple juice, I'd use a 1/4 cup of apple juice to a 1/4 cup of heavy cream or whipping cream to this, and you'd get more of a creamy texture in with your peaches. Okay, so let's not dwell too much on that. Let's get our little twirlies in place here. That's that broken one. Let's try to not work with him if we can help it. And then we got the backup. Let me put this on the side over here like that. See, look at this. See, it's already getting warm. Now we're going to do it like so. Do it at an angle. Oh, you can do it any way you want. It's your pie. You make it your way, okay? Let's put them a little closer together. I think that would be prettier, don't you? And our little one can go on the end. How's that? Okay, so all I'm going to do here real quick is just pinch this together. So I don't want any hanging over the edge. It'll just burn. And then we're going to put our egg wash and cinnamon sugar. See, this wasn't hard. You saw what we did. You were right there. Just a matter of a little bit of patience and keeping it cold. See, it's already warming up. Unbelievable, isn't it? Okay. All our little pieces out of there. And you don't have to, do all that because the way it's going to bake up. Isn't that pretty? Okay, let's get our egg wash on here. Our oven is preheated to 400 degrees. Try to cover as much of your top as you can because you want your coconut sugar. See how warm that's getting? So let's get this in the oven pronto. Try to glue it down on the sides. Okay. Sprinkle your coconut sugar on top. Now, there's another way to do this. I'll tell you real quick with the lattice. You can do that just like we did the bottom crust. You can put that on a cookie sheet and bake that off and just set it right on top, pre-baked. I almost did that, and I thought, no, I want to show you this way. Okay, I'm going to walk this around so that you can see it before I throw it in the oven. I don't know why I did that. It's not even hot. There you go. A pretty peach pie, isn't it? Not difficult. Many steps, but that was all due to the crust. Okay, we're going to put this in here. I'm going to start for 20 minutes because all we have to cook is our top. Alexa, set timer for 20 minutes.
So keep an eye on that. For no other reason, just to keep an eye on it. Until you get into the habit of knowing, how long a certain recipe takes, I always opt for putting it in less time than the recipe calls for, and then just watching it, the last 10 minutes or so of the baking period. So when that gets done, we'll come back. Okay, so it's been 35 minutes, and I just brought the pie out. Let me show it, the peach pie with the lattice top. Isn't that pretty? Let me walk it around so you can see it. There you go. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to put it here on the stove. And we have our Mexican chicken still cooking. And it's going to cook again for, I don't know, another 3 hours. But it smells awesome already, even though it's not done. Okay, so when we're ready for dinner, because all we're doing now is just waiting. The pie's done. It'll be cool and ready to eat by the time we are ready to have dinner. And our Mexican chicken has 3 more hours to go. So all in all, this is not a difficult dinner. We put our chicken in this morning with the salsa and our seasonings. Stir a pie together. It's out. And all we're doing is waiting for dinner. And we're going to put these in wraps. And I'm going to put on the side some sour cream. And I'm going to dice up some tomatoes. And that's pretty much it. So until then, okay, so everything's done. I've got my spinach wraps, my shredded chicken, tomatoes, sour cream, and my cheese and my sauce, my tomato-based sauce. I couldn't remember whether it was tomato or spinach-based salsa. I've already taken out and tasted my pie, but we're going to go ahead and put our taco together. A little bit of cheese, a little bit of sour cream. This is very simple, nothing fancy. Set up a little taco bar, put all your goodies out here. It didn't take long to make. You just put it in the crock pot this morning, let it cook all day. I like to take mine and fold it over like so. It just makes it a little easier to eat. And I wanted to show you this. I love these little holders. Very inexpensive, so easy to use. You can build your taco, your burritos, anything right in there. So, let me taste this. That is so good. Very, very good. A little bit of rice and beans, or refried beans, would go great with this. Now, our pie, taste it, make sure the crust is okay. It is so, so good. Excuse me for eating with my mouth open. And eating with it full. Okay. That wraps it up for today. Take care of yourself, your friends, your family, and your loved ones. And please check on your neighbors next door, because you never know what goes on behind closed doors. With that, I'm going to say goodbye. You have a good day, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.